Okay, so we are here at GAMA Expo 2022 with Adam from Funko Games and one of only 12 copies of Jurassic World, The Legacy of Isla Nublar. And we're going to open this box. This is a pristine, never opened box of this game. It comes out on Kickstarter in exactly 1 week, March 22nd, 2022. And we are one of the first people outside of Funko to take a look at this bad boy. All right, Rob, what do we got here? First of all, this is the Kickstarter exclusive sleeve for the box. It's a gorgeous metallic finish with claw marks. The T-Rex was poking out through those claw marks before we took it off. So there you go. Oh, yes, very nice. Okay. All right, warning, do not unpack the game yet. Stop.
Okay.
All right, before anything...
So you have to read everything.
Yes,
okay.
Before anything from the game box, before removing anything from the game box, start by reading the rule book directly below this sheet. It will tell you what to take out and when. Do not open any envelopes or cartons unless instructed. Do not examine, shuffle, scratch off, or sticker any component unless instructed.
All right.
Look at that. That is a great looking rule manual. That's fantastic. It's like
So the art style for this
pulp novel.
1950s pulp comics.
Yes.
Yep.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, let's open that up.
So it says don't handle any components yet. Start with this rulebook and only open and examine other components when specifically instructed. Okay.
Years ago, visionary entrepreneur John Hammond set into motion unimaginable events of science, nature, and adventure. His company, InGen, successfully cloned dinosaurs using DNA from blood preserved in fossilized amber. He then assembled a team to build a park where visitors could see the magnificent animals for themselves. On a rugged island 120 miles west of Costa Rica, the creation of Jurassic Park began. This epic cooperative game tells the story of Isla Nublar, a story that you will write as you play. The game is played over a series of adventures. You can put the game away between adventures or play multiple adventures one after another. You can play all the adventures with the same group, or players can drop in and out. Each adventure has special rules that further the story and unique objectives that the players must work together to complete. The decisions you make as you play will permanently affect the game, making it completely unique to you. You will be instructed to write on, sticker, scratch off, or rip up components to reflect the lasting impact of your choices. You'll also unlock new characters, dinosaurs, and other surprises. Will you redefine evolution and extinction, or invite irreversible destruction? It's up to you. A legacy game and 12 adventures.
I like this game board. Alrighty.
We need room for this, so.
Okay.
Very nice. Here, let's turn it this way. Okay.
Thanks.
Beautiful 4-piece game board, or 4-panel game board rather. I'm not really sure what any of this means yet, but we're about to find out. Loving the art style.
Yeah, so the map inspiration, because in the 50s, Hawaii was hot and up and coming and a new destination, so we wanted to mimic like travel maps of Hawaii of the era. So that's kind of the inspiration of the island design.
And over here, what is all this?
So yeah, start pulling stuff out, but don't open anything yet.
Jurassic Park Visitor Center.
Genetics lab.
Genetics Lab.
Bits and pieces.
Time to get punchy. Should we punch these out?
Do one of you love? Because there's always somebody at the table who loves punching shit out.
It's you, isn't it, Rob?
Do it. Have at it. Have
so
at
much. My girlfriend hates it, and I'm like, okay.
Yep. Okay, so I'll continue pulling things out as you start punching. So we have the research folio. Ooh. It has a big old stop sign.
It sure does.
So we don't know what this is yet. So I'm going to set that aside. We have this ring of rule cards. So this is kind of the glossary, the rules reference that you can quickly pull up anything that you might have a question about as you're playing. So they're in alphabetical order and they're numbered. So as you add rules and as rules change, you're actually going to be adding cards to this ring and removing and ripping things up as they change and modify.
What a fantastic idea. Like, that's great.
Yep, and that way you're not throwing around a rule book that's going to get torn apart.
Yeah.
You can just quickly pass this around.
Cheeto dust, whatever.
Yep.
Amazing.
Then we meet some dinosaurs. So, pretend you didn't see that.
Didn't see what?
I have no idea what you're talking
So we have cards for the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Velociraptor, the Brachiosaurus, and the Triceratops. Via the instructions, we are going to randomize these and lay them out along the side of the game board in a random order. And we will address more about the dinosaurs later. There are character action reference cards. So these are all of the actions that players will take during their turns. So in typical Prospero Hall fashion, getting the mechanics down of the game, very simple, very straightforward, easy to reference. The depth and strategy of the game comes in why you do these actions. What is your objective? What are you trying to do? Because every single adventure, in fact, every round in every adventure has different objectives that you're trying to achieve. On the back of that, it has the dinosaur behavior. When dinosaurs activate, spoiler alert, dinosaurs will want to eat you.
No.
I know, shocking. And then we have these dino danger cards, the dinosaur danger cards.
Even the herbivores?
The herbivores do not attack.
Okay.
But the carnivores do.
Yes.
So there are 4 dinosaur danger cards, one for each of these dinosaurs, but you are instructed not to look at them yet because when they come up, they are a surprise. There's a deck of sector cards. These sector cards tell you what the dinosaur behavior is. So at the end of every round, you're going to reveal sector cards to show you within each sector what the dinosaurs are doing. So on the sector cards, there is behavior for both the herbivores and the carnivores. So let me pull up one with a hunt symbol. There we go. So let's say we revealed this card at the end of the round. What this tells us is that any herbivore in the area of the board that this card corresponds to are going to migrate east, and then any carnivore is going to attack and then move north.
Nice.
So we'll get more into basically how to trigger dinosaur behavior later on, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna pop this sector deck on the sector deck area of the board. Then we have this box of item cards. So these are items that you're going to unlock throughout the 12 adventures. So there are 6 starting items that are noted as a starting item.
Nice.
And then every other card you're going to put back into the box behind this divider upside down so that the name and number of the card is visible, but you don't know what is on the card. So I'm going to pull out these 6 starting item cards. And then before looking at it, I'm going to slap this on top, put it back in the box. And then that way, as you unlock additional cards throughout the adventure, you put them in front of the divider when you put the game away. So it's very easy to tell which items you're playing with and which ones you don't have yet.
Nice.
Then we're going to meet some of our gorgeous Dino Minis. So here she is in all of her glory, the mighty T-Rex. The fearsome Triceratops.
He's just misunderstood.
The legendary Brachiosaurus. And the clever Raptors.
Clever girl.
And I just want to point out all of these minis, well, not only are they not that many, but they're all complete sculpts of scenes from the movies. They all have incredible detail. They're on custom bases with custom symbols on each one. And we actually got to use the original 3D sculpts that Industrial Light and Magic used on the movie.
Nice.
So they were able to basically unlock their repertoire and
Dug out their floppy disks.
yep. So yeah, each one is an absolute work of art. So these are the starting 4 dinosaurs. Here in the box is another 8.
Nice.
So these are all locked away. You may or may not open them up throughout the course of your adventure, depending on the choices that you made. So these are going to stay in the box for now.
Green ones are herbivores.
So yes, green are herbivore, red are carnivore, and the purple are woo creations. So who knows what those are? And Eric, just so you know, everything I'm going to show you today is public domain at this point. Feel free to write about or take a picture of or whatever, anything that you're going to see.
Okay.
All right, so we have talked about a lot of things, but there's more. So, the Dino Attack Die. We have a beautiful translucent amber 20-sided die, complete with mosquitoes inside.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And we've also included a raptor claw. The only thing that does in the entire game is scratch things off.
Oh.
It is not a first player marker.
Oh.
It serves no purpose other than to scratch things off. We have spared no expense with this game. And then the bulk of the heft.
I think he would have used actual raptor claws.
Right?
Here we go.
Pretty limited edition.
These are the adventure envelopes. So each of the 12 adventures comes with its own massive envelope filled with components and characters and new rules, stickers, punch tokens, anything that you actually you can't imagine it because you have no idea what's in here. And that's the point.
I can imagine quite a bit.
So we're gonna take a look at the tutorial today. So by the way, the other thing in the box are cards that correspond to the locked dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So when you open a dino box, you also get its cards and some other things. All right, so I'm gonna put all of this aside because we have officially unboxed the game.
All right.
You are so good at that. So
Oh, here's the components. Yes.
So I'm gonna let you.
Good
because
job,
you-
Rob. Good job.
You've already organized that so beautifully. I'm gonna tell you how to set up the rooms.
Okay.
So Genetics Lab, they're gonna use the GACT you have there.
Yep.
So go ahead and put one of those on each of the matching symbols. So one G on G, one A on A, so on and so forth. Then you're gonna mix up the remaining 4 and randomly place them on the other 4 spaces. And that is how you set up the Genetics Lab. Okay, there's only 4. You don't need to go crazy.
Just to be sure.
Just thorough. Nice and thorough.
That's right.
Beautiful. So that's the Genetics Lab. Now, the Visitor Center, you're going to take the red med kits, put one on each of the red med kit symbol. Mix up all the other tokens face down, make a deck, and then start laying them out face up. Put everything else in the pool and flip the top tile of the pool face up. That's how you set up the rooms. So the rooms in this game, or the buildings, I should say, provide additional challenges. They are basically puzzles and mini games that you're going to have to complete throughout the adventures. And we will learn more about them as we get through the tutorial adventure. Because as of right now, you're told to set them up, but you don't know what to do with them yet. And that is intentional. And so the last part of the initial setup is to put the dinos in their respective territories, and so it matches their symbol.
Should they face up for the top?
Only the top ones face up, yep. And then the rest face down. Perfect. Every player is going to get a player reference card. And then do me a favor, the action tokens. Please give 2 action tokens to each of us, and then the 9th action token is going to go on the compass rose, the Isla Nublar compass rose. Thank you.
Okay, so is this game set up and ready to go now?
Pretty much. So I'm going to kind of talk about player actions.
All right.
And then I will have you all open up the tutorial, and we will jump right into it. So the game is played over 5 rounds. There's 5 phases in each round. The first phase in every round is we will be playing characters. What characters those are, we don't know yet. But at the start of a round, wherever any player character is, you're going to reveal that sector card. And so we talked about the sector cards earlier. Those are going to describe the dino behavior. After we have revealed any sector cards that we are in. So think about that as you're in a part of the island and you're physically there, and you get to look around and say, oh, look, the herbivores look like they're migrating east. So at the end of the round, that's going to happen. All right, Madam T-Rex, you look hungry, so you're going to hunt, and then you're going to try to move west, or whatever the card tells you. So that gives you some information, and I just kind of want to call that out as a theme of this game, is that you always have some information. You're probably never going to have all the information. And so you're always going to be making your best guess, trying to do your best to try to anticipate what might be happening. But the reality is we are dealing with living, breathing dinosaurs on a real island that has its own behavior. Challenges are going to pop up that we cannot predict. You're going to try to get as much information as you can to help mitigate things. But there's pretty much no way to know everything that's going to happen. So after you have done that, there are round cards, so we would have revealed a round card. What are round cards? We don't know yet. Then we're going to take actions. So these are the actions that a character can do. You can run, which is move 2 spaces. Each zone, so there's 6 sectors and 20 zones on the board. So you get to move 2 zones, orthogonally, not diagonally. If you move into a space with exactly 1 carnivore, so no other player, no followers, or no other dinosaurs, then that dinosaur is going to say, oh, you look delicious, thank you for coming near me, and swipe at you for 1 attack die. That is called a risky run. So there are things in this game called followers. We will meet them in a little bit, but you can lead, so that's another kind of movement that you can do. So there's run and lead. Basically, you get to take a companion with you, not another player character, but a thing called a follower, and say, all right, come with me, and you essentially move half speed. So you get to move them 1 space, unless it's along a road or in a building, and then that is called a speedy run because those areas of the island are developed, so they're easier to navigate. You can herd a dinosaur. So in order to herd a dinosaur, because they are very big, you need to be in a space with a dinosaur and another character, another player. You basically take the herd action. You take one of those brown herded tokens, put it under the dinosaur, and you have the option to lead it 1 space once it is herded. So you can go with it. You can say, hey, go over there. to move it one space or leave it where it is. And then when they activate from the sector cards, the herded token will cancel the first action that they would take. So if you know a T-Rex is going to attack, you can use some actions to herd it, and it will essentially cancel that attack. You can take the search action. When you search, you reveal the sector card of the sector that you're in. So the cards are going to be laid out on those 6 spaces that correspond to the colors of the 6 areas on the board. When you reveal the sector card, you get to collect the number of items that are listed on that sector card. Items are invaluable in this game. And also find out what the dinosaurs are going to do at the end of the round. Because after you do that, after you've taken all of your actions, the dinosaurs will activate. So you reveal all the sector cards. Whether you know what's coming or not, those dinosaurs are going to do things, whether they're moving around the island or attacking. After that, you do the end round steps. So you sweep all the sector cards, you check any round cards that might have continuing effects, and then you refresh all your tokens. So actions, no matter how many players you have, there's an action economy of 9 player actions. So we all have 2, because they're divided evenly among players, and then the 9th action is there on the board, and any one of us can use that in a round. So actions can be taken in any order by any player. You do not need to take both your actions at the same time. I could do 1, you could do 1, you could do 2, you could do 3 if you use the compass rose on the board. And then once all 9 actions are spent, that is when you continue on with the other steps. That is the rundown of how to play the game. Now, let's get to why. Who wants to open it up?
Go for it, Rob.
So, this is the tutorial adventure.
Yeah.
The tutorial is endlessly replayable because this is a brand new game. We want people to have the experience of learning how to play the game before we permanently punish them because they thought putting the visitor center next to the T-Rex was a good idea.
All right. Stuff.
So, tons of stuff in here, and this gives you an idea of the kinds of things that can be in these adventure envelopes. So, things that are always there is always an adventure guide, which tells the story of that adventure as well as any specific setup instructions, telling you what to do, what to put aside, what to save, your objectives that you need to achieve by the end of the game in order to consider it a win. You may unlock new characters. So here we have 5 characters that we just met. Dr. Henry Wu, Robert Muldoon, Dr. Jerry Harding, Alejandra Solano, and John Hammond. Alejandra Solano might perk your ears because she is an original character. In developing this game, we got to work very closely with Universal and Amblin, and they kind of let us create story that isn't in the movies. So this game takes place from before Jurassic Park, all the way through the entire franchise, and everything in between, and then our own epic grand finale. So the tutorial is endlessly replayable so that you get to learn how to play the game. The finale also becomes an endlessly replayable board game. So after you've completed all 12 adventures in the Legacy campaign, you now have on your shelf a fully playable game that is completely yours. You have created your own version of Isla Nublar based on all the choices that you made. You get to open the sandbox a little bit. Maybe you didn't get to see all the dinosaurs that are locked away. We let you play with them so that you're not just opening the box and saying, oh, that's cute, and then throwing it away. We give you a reason to want to come back to this game over and over again.
And it sounds like you basically open up any content that hasn't been unlocked at the end, more or less. All right.
We open the sandbox.
Got it.
Yes. And then there are these round cards. So in every adventure, you're going to find a set of round cards. These are essentially the story of this adventure. These are going to tell you what you need to get done in what amount of time, your objectives, because, we learned about what all the actions are. Well, to this point, we still don't know what you're doing changes from adventure to adventure and round to round. So if you don't mind putting these in the round spots at the bottom of the board that correspond to it, and then we're going to place in a random dinosaur danger card in round 4 because there is no round 4 card by design. So here we go. Who wants to narrate Adventure 1? I think it's you.
All right. From the beginning. In this envelope, we have all the components that Adam just explained.
So
That's right.
So one thing I do want to point out
Yes.
is there are some components that, when you open an envelope, are only for that specific adventure.
Yes.
So those are adventure components. And then there are some components, like characters, that are now permanently
here.
added. Yep, permanently added to the adventure that you will, when you put it away, set aside because they might be used again in future adventures.
Okay. Road tokens, barrier tokens. All right. A million planning decisions fill John Hammond's mind as he dozes aboard the airplane. He and his park planner, Alejandro Solano, are en route to Isla Nublar. They'll meet up with the site crews who have been on the ground surveying for the best locations to build the park's first facilities. So Prologue, unlock the new characters. Do not scratch off anything.
No raptor claw.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. These gray areas are scratch off.
Yep.
So these characters are added to the game for this adventure and all future adventures. Keep them all together. In future adventures, the prologue is when the players decide how to develop the park, making permanent changes to the game. Because this tutorial adventure is a dream and you aren't making any permanent changes, the prologue is complete. All right. The questions of architects, landscapers, engineers, contractors, and scientists tug in all directions. In his slumber, these stresses play out as strange dream visions of the choices Hammond must make. So the adventure setup, we have the 5 available characters. We each choose one of the available characters, take their card, insert the player's mover into a base.
So let's do that.
Place
So-
it on the helipad.
So as you go through all of the setup and things like that, you'll want to do them step by step. And you can choose to read ahead until you hit a stop sign, if you really want to know what's coming up.
Right.
But as I said before, you have some information, but so you're going to pick characters before you really know what you're doing.
I'll take the new character.
Yes.
Why not?
So each character has a unique ability and a natural defense. Now the defense dies
Stuff on
are
the back
random.
as well.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
There is legacy information on the back, which you are told to
Nice.
ignore for now.
Yes.
What look at me? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, then I will take John Hammond.
John Hammond is a very good pick. Oh God, and then I'm playing. Okay, so I'm gonna take
So,
Jerry Harding because he can heal the dinos, and I don't want the dinosaurs to get hurt.
Okay.
put you on the base.
Thank you.
Mr. Hammond.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent. Then we're gonna set Robert Muldoon aside because he is not going to play in this adventure.
Okay. Adventure setup. Place the 4 red legacy round cards, which Rob has already done. Face down. We got the random dinosaur round card. Adam jumped this up here. Mix up the 4 survey tokens and place 1 face down in each of the 4 dinosaur territories on the board. So. Okay.
Just like that.
I didn't even know there was something on the other side. No reason to look.
Nope.
Okay. Place the other tokens, then general token pool near the board. As you play the adventure, you'll be instructed when to use them. To learn how to play, continue playing the adventure. On page 6 of the rulebook, and then when you're ready, refer to the objectives on the following pages.
Excellent. So hi, I'm the rulebook. In order to win an adventure, what you need to do is survive. So let's take those 7 consequence tokens. Without looking at them, we're going to place them in these spots in the consequence area. So every decision you make
So there
in
are
this
numbers
game,
on the other side.
yes, there is 1 0, 1 2, and the rest are 1s.
Okay.
If at any point we have suffered consequences equaling 5 or more, we lose the adventure. If we do not complete all of the objectives in this adventure guide, we lose the adventure.
Yeah.
If we have completed all of the objectives and do not suffer enough consequences, we win the adventure. With this game, you deal with the choices that you make. So win or lose, you're going to continue on to the next adventure, failing forward each time. With the exception of this tutorial, because it is a dream sequence, you get to replay this until you're comfortable enough to start making those permanent changes.
Okay.
And then I think I've talked about just about everything else except for Dino Attacks, which we'll get to that when that happens.
Okay, well
So-
then I guess we're about to get playing, huh?
We are.
So that was the setup and explanation of the tutorial session for Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar.
Perfect.